Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Going Dark Pod, episode number 25. Chop, we got a lot
What's
of
up,
stuff
man?
happening in the COD
Yes,
scene today. How are we feeling over there?
I'm feeling good, dude. I'm feeling good. We are a quarter way to episode 100.
Hey,
That is like,
listen, we talked about this. We just got to get past 10. And then what was the
Mhm.
next one? Was it 50?
I mean, episode 100 is the big one. Like
Okay.
that, we're in the top 1% of podcasts
I love it.
out
It
there
feels
if we make
good.
it into the past episode 100. But I mean, 25 today is going to be a pretty insane one. I mean, just a few hours ago, Call of Duty dropped the season 1 Reloaded roadmap, and I don't know if I'm crazy. I don't have the actual the original season 1 roadmap up in front of me, but as a zombies player, heavily biased, of course, but I almost feel like there's more stuff in this roadmap than the season 1, like the normal one. But I want to discuss like all that stuff, big zombies, maybe the biggest zombies update we've ever gotten. I probably since they've done live service, maybe. I mean,
It's good
close.
it's good to see when I'm looking at this roadmap right now that the zombies is almost the entire middle section of this.
You don't have to like look for it on a little
No.
tiny box, like
No.
right. That's pretty
Um,
good.
yeah, so I mean, I guess we can kind of go over this section by section.
Yeah.
I want to briefly go over because we've had guests on as the last couple podcasts. So before we get into season 1 Reloaded, I want to go over, I guess, season 1 so far. Have you been having fun? Have you been playing the game a lot? I'm assuming you have. You tweeted the other day that you were a Master Prestige. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming you've been playing the game.
I've been playing. I mean, I need to check. I haven't really looked at my stats, but I feel like at this point I've played more BO6 than even Cold War, which I played a lot of too.
Yeah.
I will say that I mean, season 1 was admittedly as a zombies player not big for me just because this update is the one where everything is coming. So there wasn't really much to do in actual season 1, at least for me. I will say I have like let off the gas a little bit in terms of like where I was playing at launch, for example, but I mean, it's that sort of that lull period in between launch and season 1 Reloaded, like because this is the big update,
Yeah.
at least for
Yeah.
me. So the grind is coming back, but I mean, I've still been playing fairly consistently, and I think my playtime is only going to get more accelerated with this new update.
I I don't know what it is about this game. I just love it. I and we can talk about this too. I do actually want to get your opinion on all this. I'm sure if you're listening to a COD podcast, you're probably aware of what's going on. But it seems like there's a lot of negative vibes towards this game. I mean, there's negative vibes towards
Sure.
every COD, but I feel like in the last like week or two, man, it just turned on its head. Whether it's SBMM damage, whether it's blood, you see blood when you shoot somebody, and it's not actually giving you a hit marker.
Mhm.
I mean, what do you think about all this? I mean, what I've been doing lately with this game, and maybe this is what we need to remember when we play Call of Duty. I have been hopping on with some buddies, and we've been farting around. If I play by myself, I got headphones in, I'm listening to music or a podcast or whatever, and just shooting, just hard point, running around. And it's been the most enjoyable COD that I've played in years. Probably since MW19. I know MW19 is not the most favorite. I'm just talking about memory wise. Like, I had a lot of
Mhm.
fun on that game, surprisingly enough. But I don't know.
I
I'm having a blast, and I'm seeing all this negativity, and I'm like, maybe all the negativity people are the ones not playing the game, and then the ones that are playing the game are just
are
we're
just
just
enjoying
we're
life.
just enjoying
Yeah.
life, man. I've been tweeting a lot of like Treyarch hype, and
Sure.
I mean it. Like I don't know what's going on, but I'm having a blast, and I'm not trying to do like the sucking up or anything.
It's not glazing, but
No, I'm
when
just
they're
enjoying
getting
myself.
things right, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, good job," you know?
Yeah.
At least okay, so to answer your question, from my perspective at least, the only time I really see this stuff is when I get on Twitter, and, you know, Twitter is Twitter, but
Twitter is just
one
that's
of the places of all time, but
yeah.
that is where I see most of what you're talking about, and I I I don't know the whole picture because honestly, I haven't investigated it like as deeply as people who are in those communities. But what I see as an outsider to those communities in some sense is that like people think Warzone is just cooked. Like the Warzone people are going through
It is
what
cooked, by
we
the way.
as zombie YouTubers went through with Black Ops
Welcome.
4.
Yeah. You're going like, yes, welcome.
Yeah, it's that meme. It's that meme where it's like first time.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yes.
the Warzone players are going through what we went through as BO4 players. It's the
Or
exact
or,
same
or
like sentiment.
multiplayer people. I mean, the last couple multiplayers have not been. The maps have not been good in the beginning. The content. It's almost like they've kind of flipped it on its head. Where multiplayer. Look at the weapons we're getting. We got 3 new maps coming again. I know it's Holiday Nuketown, but we'll get into that. By the way, I'm skipping to that, but I feel like zombies and multiplayer are really an emphasis this year, and Warzone is not.
And they're getting attention, and that feels good, at least from my perspective. I get why Warzone people aren't so happy in that way, but again, from what I see, people are like complaining Warzone is cooked, Warzone sucks. I don't know why. Like, I'm sure you can enlighten me on that a little bit, but I see multiplayer. I don't know. At least from my perspective, the multiplayer community seems healthy enough. I mean, there's complaints obviously, and there's even complaints in the zombies community. Not that everything is sunshine and roses over there either, but I mean, everything's got its issues, but by and large, it feels like the multiplayer community is in decent shape. The zombies community, I think, is in the best shape it's been in a long time. Warzone, I don't know what the hell's going on over there. So I think you're kind of right insofar as the people that are just enjoying the game are not getting on Twitter to make giant threads and reply to everything and tweet at devs and so they're just enjoying the game. But there is I don't know if I would call them a minority at this point, but there's a section of the community that is very unhappy with the current direction.
Well, I mean, we can go into that before we hit the season 1 reloaded content.
Yeah, please.
I think with Warzone, from what I'm seeing, from what I'm playing, because me and my buddy went back and played some Warzone, because I just was like, let me see if is it me? Am I just being a hater of the Warzone mode? I played it for 4 years in a row. I do think that's part of it. I think the mode is completely stale. It's completely Warzone to me is something that had a good show, like not saying kill it, because it obviously does great numbers for them, but it feels like one of those things where it was like a fad, and now it's like, okay, COD, what made COD great was good campaign, good zombies, good multiplayer. When you think back to the games, it feels like it's that. The Warzone had this time in the sun, this battle royale genre, but I don't think that they can replicate what Fortnite is doing in the battle royale genre.
Yeah,
scene.
I also don't know if Warzone was built to last.
It was not
in the same way.
It was not.
You know.
So Repulse has a podcast, and I was listening to him. He actually had a dev on, and they were talking to him, and Hunter TV was on, and they had said that the Modern Warfare 19 Verdansk engine, it would have been a mess if they would have stayed with it. Because I always said, like, just stay on that one, and keep bringing, like, just like you did with Cold War, bring the guns in, bring the Vanguard guns in, bring MW2 guns in, bring in MW3 guns. But he said that they had to put a new foundation in. But the problem was the new foundation has been absolutely terrible, because that foundation was MW2. So I think that there's a huge uphill battle with getting that game to feel good. Because at the end of the day, I mean, and I've even heard people say it, BO6 and MW3 really are MW2 with movement. Like MW2 could have done Omni movement, and it probably would feel kind of similar to Black Ops 6.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think the problem is when the Warzone got integrated, it kind of, I'm telling you, I said this to you at COD Next. I said, this feels awful. Like that.
Yeah,
I gave the Warzone update a 3 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10 on my COD Next review.
Bro, I didn't even play it. Yeah, you did rate it very low.
Yeah,
and I was like, I'm not missing nothing.
The map was not good. The Area 99 map was not good. And the movement was so clunky. And it makes no sense, because the multiplayer feels like I could play that multiplayer all day. It is
It's
so
very good.
buttery smooth.
It's very good.
And then the
Yeah.
Warzone is like the opposite. It's like it's literally like an
So do they
MW2
have
integration.
Omni movement in Warzone? Like
Yeah, but
I
it
don't.
doesn't feel the same. It does not feel the same. I don't know what it is,
Hmm.
but I don't know if it's perk based. I don't know what is going on, but and then the fact is they brought a new map in. Nobody likes it. Everybody wants to go back to Rebirth. Rebirth is now 5 years old.
Yeah.
8 if you include BO4. And then you have
Damn,
the
I'm
big
old.
map. The big map stayed the same. The
Yeah.
that's the worst BR map of them all.
The Urzikstan?
Urgix, it's awful. Oh my gosh. I'm
Huh.
not the conspiracy theory to make stuff, stuff's made by AI and all that, but
You think there might
that's
be
got some
some
AI in it, man. That is
Okay.
very
Huh.
generic compared to Al Mazrah and Verdansk.
Wow.
So yeah,
So the Warzone community is like having their big crisis
I
right
can
now.
tell you right now, I've talked to a ton of Warzone creators. A lot of them are looking into other games.
Dude, oh my god, man. I could talk about this forever. This is like
It's
the
zombies.
same it's the same like dude, I
Well, it
went
doesn't
through
help
this
that
in
Fortnite just had a
2018.
massive update too at the same
Sure, and
time.
they hit their all-time like peak
Yes.
player count or something
Yes.
recently, but like what I kind of like want to like shake Warzone players and be like just tell them to don't be afraid to like try new styles of content, because
Yeah.
like where I was in 2018 is like terrifying to be like, oh my god, with Black Ops 4, like as zombie YouTubers, the ship was going down, the ship was sinking, the writing was on the wall. It was horrific, and it was like kind of make or break. It's like you can continue doing this, or you can try to expand to do something. And I did something else for like years, and I grew as a creator and
Yep.
developed more skills. And eventually, when zombies was good and interesting again, I came back to it with a totally new appreciation and a better skill set as a content creator. As a result, if I had just stuck with zombies and doing the same thing, I probably wouldn't be here right now. I don't know, but um, yeah, that's Warzone. I think it's about time that Warzone had its like identity
They've had a
crisis, because
lot of support.
it has to have to happen to every community at some point.
Mhm.
Multiplayer had their crisis like years ago. Zombies has had it pretty bad. Not just BO4, Vanguard, World War II, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now it's finally come for Warzone. I don't know what they do about that. And the one thing I will say is that I've seen a little bit of sentiment online, and people surprisingly in the Warzone community are advocating for Warzone to be split off from Call of Duty.
I
And I'm like, dude, we've been saying this for like a year, maybe more. I mean, actually, what's funny is, speaking of our podcast, I'm pretty sure one of our first episodes of this very podcast was us covering MW3 Season 1. So,
You're probably right.
and I think we were starting to say those things all the way back then. We were like, hey, Warzone maybe should just be its own standalone thing, and let Call of Duty do what it's doing. I mean, this roadmap seems to indicate that's kind of like Warzone is just a tiny little box. And for me, that's sick,
Can
because
you
like,
imagine? Can you
we got
imagine
more
how we've
real
gotten to
estate.
that?
Like, dude, I'm looking at other roadmaps. Like, someone tweeted me a reply of a roadmap from MW3, and it's like 75% of the thing is Warzone. I'm like, my eyes just glaze over. Like, it's just not relevant to me.
I
But
I
we got
didn't
some
even
real estate on this one.
well, I didn't even mean for this to be a Warzone intro and podcast, but it's kind of fascinating to see this happen.
Yeah.
I mean, there is literally only one block that is ranked play. And my gosh, no offense, but are we really ready for ranked play in Warzone? I mean, look at how the other one launched. Like, and you got to buy the game. This is free to play Warzone.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit sad to me, because I mean, at the end of the day, I am appreciative of Warzone because it's how I got my start, and
Mhm.
how I learned how to create, and how I learned how to also get away from just like you said, how you learn to grow. When it was going down in Modern Warfare 2, I had to learn to grow it and had to figure out something else to do. So
Yeah.
but man, I think it's time, man. I think it's time for them to make that, give it to Raven Software, let them do whatever they want and make it their own thing. Look at COD Mobile. If you want to go, here's the thing with COD. I feel like they have good intentions, but I sometimes just don't think that they get their audience. The COD HQ is one of those things where I'm like, we want the player to try to do everything. I get on the COD HQ, I open up BO6, I go to multiplayer. I've been doing it since it was 2007.
Same here, man.
Don't
But it's zombies. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
don't make me open this thing to go all over here and there. Just stop. Let Warzone be one of its own little things in the PlayStation Store, in the Blizzard app, in the
People are
Steam
still
app.
gonna play it, and they honestly,
They're
I
gonna
don't
play
think
it
the
more
average
probably.
Warzone player would even care if it was detached from Call of Duty. That doesn't, as far as I can tell, that wouldn't affect the day-to-day, life and experience of a typical Warzone player. I mean, maybe I'm not the best temperature gauge of that because I don't really play Warzone, but I just don't really see how that would be a downside. I think like I think Warzone was not built to last. I think it was built for Modern Warfare 2019,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
And now it's spiraled out of control where they're trying to apply this formula that was built for a much different game that just doesn't work here, and you need to kind of cut it off. And um
I
it
would love
seems
to know the numbers of Warzone. I really would. The real numbers.
sure. Yeah, me too, actually. I would love to know the numbers for everything. I mean, Zombies apparently has had some of the best numbers. I mean, if we're even using like YouTube views as a relative temperature gauge, I
Yeah.
mean, this is the
Yeah.
best Zombies has done in a very long time.
But
Very, very long
did
time.
I
Maybe ever.
did I mention to you that my buddy I play basketball with, I think I said maybe last podcast with Noah that
Mhm.
he
He's playing Zombies.
he's playing zombies. He tried Rebirth, he tried Area 99, didn't like it, and he's a typical Warzone guy. Gets on, plays a couple games of Resurgence, doesn't play it anymore. Doesn't like it. Bored of Rebirth, doesn't like the new map. You lost that guy, and you lost a lot of people like that guy
Yeah.
out there. That
Mhm.
you can't just keep giving them Rebirth. So, here it comes. Zombies, it's fun, it's easy, or easier, I would say, maybe. Not to do the Easter egg. That was very complicated.
It's
But
it's a low
it's easy to
barrier to
pick up.
entry. Anyone can pick up and play, which is always
Yes.
the beauty of
Easy to
Zombies. Yeah,
pick up is more what I'm
100%.
saying. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that are maybe kind of over Warzone, and Zombies is kind of that next thing. Because I think multiplayer has its time where you play it for a little bit and you're like, okay, I'm kind of over it. But
I think it'll always have its core audience that likes
yes,
arena shooters. Like multiplayer's not going anywhere. As much as people say,
no,
"Oh, MP's dead," dude, I've been hearing that since Black Ops 2. MP's not going anywhere.
yes.
Like, um, and I think we can talk about the roadmap a little bit if you want.
Yeah,
Like,
this episode was supposed to
this
be
is a
about the
podcast about the
roadmap,
roadmap,
and
lads.
I
But
went off the rocker. My bad.
our 30-minute preamble about Warzone.
Yeah,
No,
the
but
new
that,
title
I
of
think
this
that was
one.
interesting to kind of like I was curious on your perspective of that because I've seen the Warzone community just absolutely melting down recently, and
Yeah,
out of my own curiosity, I was wondering why, but now it kind of makes more sense. But to briefly touch on the roadmap, a couple things I'm gonna say is that like big picture, the content we're getting phenomenal. I think this is the
phenomenal.
most and some of the best content we've ever gotten. Period. The new map Citadel Daymore looks genuinely. It feels like they're pulling heavy inspiration from Drak in Black Ops 3, which was DLC 1, which is also one of the best received and best selling maps of all time. The new perk Vulture Aid from Buried is coming.
Yep.
So I know you're pog about that. New ammo mods, field upgrades. They've even showed off the wonder. Okay, so here's what I'll say though about how they're marketing the map. This is my big criticism, I think. I feel like I'm gonna love the map. I think it's gonna be the best map so far in BO6. Not having played it yet, I would probably be willing to stake, my bets on the fact that I think it's going to be better than both Liberty Falls and Terminus. However, something that I really enjoyed about old Zombies marketing was that you see a DLC pack and it just says Origins.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You get a little bit in the trailer, but it's just you just get the picture of the map. In what they've done with their their roadmap is it's a lot of over explaining. If you look at the zombie section of the roadmap, it's so unnecessarily long. Not only do they show off all 4 wonder weapons already, which in old Zombies would have been unheard of. Like in Drak, You can look at all the trailers, all the promotion. You won't see a bow in that map at all.
Yeah, they
That's for
really.
you to discover in the game, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
But they just outright put it in the trailer here. And fair enough, like if you want to show off the goods, that's fine. But they really over explained the history of the map. They over explained the setup and the lore, and um I really like video games that convey their story in a show don't tell manner. Don't tell me what I'm doing. Like let
Yeah,
me figure it
yeah.
out. Show me in the game. And it's kind of the same deal with the wonder weapons. Like it's I guess it's cool or whatever that they showed them off, but I also kind of would have liked to be surprised in game when I actually like get them. But it is what it is. I just think that it's a hard 180 to how they used to market zombie maps. And I think some people are going to prefer that, but people like me are going to kind of wish that they left a little more to the imagination, and for us to discover in game, because so much of the fun of zombies is the discovery.
Do,
And
do
no,
you,
go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, do you think that that's just the world now, though? Like, I'm looking at movies
Mhm.
where, I mean, my gosh, I feel like they give you the plot nowadays in the trailer
Yeah,
because it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
is it worth me going to spend money on this to the movie theater? And TV
Sure.
shows, I feel like you know everything that happens in a TV show. So I don't know. I feel
It's yeah, you're right.
like
It's a
how do they
different.
get how do they get people to play like Fortnite? You know, I feel like COD is at a tough time. I feel like that used to be like Halo and Battlefield. They used to copy or not copy, but like that was their rival.
Emulate. Yeah.
Now it's Fortnite, but Fortnite's I feel like just not the same game, and they got it in their mind that it is, and so
Because it's
like
successful, we must do what they do.
yes,
Yeah.
so it's like okay, everybody knows it's a Juice World event the other day. There's
Yeah.
no secret in that, but it's the secret is what you see, but you know it's a Juice World. They could have just been like, hey, it's a concert, but
Sure.
is that going to get the same amount of eyeballs as
No, you're
hey,
right.
it's a
You're right.
Juice World concert? So now it's like, hey, you see a sword in the trailer and you go,
You're
I
gonna
got,
go,
I
yo.
gotta
So
go,
fire. Yeah.
I gotta go find this. So there's no discoverability anymore. But is that how they get people to come play the game?
It might be, and given that Black Ops 6 has been as successful as it has, I mean, I can't exactly blame them if it's working, but like I looked at the patch notes and going through the zombie section, and I can't believe I'm saying this about zombies, but it was too much information. Too much. What I'm going to say is just like kind of unnecessary information. They're like looking at areas of the map, like just a little section, and they're like, it's just like a village, and they have to over explain what a village is, and I'm like, just let me like get in the game and like
Yeah, yeah.
see it myself. Like you don't got to tell me what I know. Um, that's the stuff I'm not a big fan of personally. And again, maybe I'm the old boomer and times have changed, and like they got to put every crazy moment in the trailer so that people will come check it out, because there are so many games vying for your attention that you can't just you can't just drop Citadel Daymore and just have a logo and that be it until you play the map. I would love that. I think that's I would actually personally love that, but I just don't see Call of Duty doing that in the environment of live service, in the modern context that we're in. I just don't think that
Yeah.
approach works anymore, even though I personally prefer it. I just don't like their marketing. That's not to say anything of the content, because I think it's like we're getting new Gobblegum, we're getting all these new augments. Um, the lack of content is not the problem. In MW3, that was the problem.
Mm-hmm.
We have podcasts of us talking about MWZ, and I'm going through it because
Yeah.
season 4 drops with zero zombies content.
A
Like
cutscene, right? One in a cutscene.
maybe a cutscene, if that, or it's just like the lack of content isn't the issue, and like that's amazing. I'm happy, but their approach to I would say storytelling and marketing the map, um, it's a little bit too forward for my liking. It just the wonder weapons. I don't. I think this is the hill I'm gonna die on. Is like I don't mind them showing off the wonder weapons so much, but it doesn't leave anything to the imagination, because they say you get a claymore, right? You get this sword when you get in game that it replaces your melee weapon. They should have just left it at that,
Yeah.
because obviously as zombie players, we're gonna pick up on the fact that these are elemental. These can be upgraded, and we go in the game and try to figure out how. Instead, they're like, here's all four. Here's exactly how they work. Here's their abilities, passive effects, etc. I'm like, I kind of just wanted to
They're really doing that
get a
though
hint.
this year. They're doing
They are
the not theater. What's the mode where you director's mode?
directed mode, dude. Do you see
Yeah,
they have a zombies training course now?
I'm looking right at it. So they must be. I don't know. I mean, the only thing I would say is a
They're
positive for you
trying to
is
appeal to everyone.
yeah, but I think the only positive that I would see for this for you is that you're getting people that didn't play zombies like that, and
True.
they're playing zombies now. And I
It's
can
true.
tell you they're probably looking up your videos, going, okay, what's the guide on, Liberty Falls to do this? And so
Yeah,
I
you're
think
right.
there's
Yeah.
more people than ever playing zombies, maybe because of the approach that they're taking. And again,
Mhm.
we're old fashioned, and it's like, man, don't tell us every single thing that's underneath the tree. But
Yeah, I feel like I may be in the minority with that. Like I remember so I was at the do you remember the COD XP events? Do
like
you remember those?
MW3 vibe.
There was a MW3 COD XP, and then there was one for Infinite Warfare.
Okay.
Um, so it was like the year in between Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare. That's when COD XP took place. And I went to that one, and I was in this panel like with the zombie guys, and Jason Blundell literally said, he's like, zombies will never have a tutorial mode because that kind of like in some ways defeats the point of
Yeah.
zombies.
Yeah.
And which is ironic because Black Ops 4 had a zombies tutorial for I don't know why, but like the zombies training course thing kind of feels weird to me because it's like we're gonna show you how to shoot a zombie. It's like
We
who
know
needs a
how
guide
to
for
do that.
right? Like that's what I mean. Like it like you need a guide to press one button to pull the trigger. Anyone who's ever played Call of Duty for 10 seconds knows to pick up gun and shoot zombie.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
um, I I'm not that like upset about it. I just think it's kind of weird, especially given that they have directed mode, which is already kind of like a zombies training course in a way. Um, but I guess for the Easter eggs, but still, the content is fantastic, and I think it's going to be fantastic. I think the map is going to be incredible. I'm just personally not a big fan of the way that they're conveying it all in the marketing.
Yeah.
It's a little off to me.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think the one positive, like I keep saying, it's just great that, my goodness, we have content. I honestly cannot
Amen.
believe I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, holy crap. Like that you actually have a bunch of stuff. Honestly, I'm looking at this roadmap again, and it really does feel like this is something that it almost feels like Black Ops 2-ish. Like if this roadmap was
Mhm.
for BO2, I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it
Yeah.
feels like that. It doesn't there's nothing that's coming to the store that seems weird. I mean, I haven't seen it. Maybe there is, but
They're Squid Game 2.
but even Squid Game 2, like
Yeah.
I don't find that too crazy. Like have
Yeah,
you
yeah,
I
sure.
don't know. I don't know why. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but like now we have a shark, we have a raccoon. I'm not the biggest like those skins I'm just not the biggest fan of. Like
Me neither.
I get some of these skins with like as long as it's a soldier. But the problem is, I'm sure if you look at the stats, I'm sure the shark and the raccoon are probably the top purchased ones.
That's what they told me at Treyarch, man. They said, we'd like to maintain the like identity of the game, but they said we know people like crazy stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And
I played the other day, and there was a team of all raccoons, and I'm like, all right, well, these
I love
skins
that.
aren't going away
That's
anytime
amazing.
soon. So
Yeah.
I do think, unfortunately, that the loud minority probably is unfortunately the case for those. The people just probably go buy it. Um, I don't know where I was going with that, but I'm looking
No,
at the
I don't
rewards
think
and stuff.
maybe you and I aren't necessarily the target audience for these skins, but I mean, clearly people buy them, otherwise they wouldn't be sold. And I guess I don't know. I can't exactly blame them for that. I get it's the necessary evil that's in place so that we don't have to pay for DLC map packs anymore. Because I would say if we want to get rid of crazy silly skins, that would require us to go back to paid DLC, which I don't think anybody, especially now, is advocating for that.
Yeah, because we're actually getting content now, as in before we'd have these, I remember Black Ops 4 with that pass, thinking you were going to get so
Yeah, the
much
Black
content,
Ops
and my
pass.
gosh, that was probably the least amount of content we got all year. Remember
It
the
was a nightmare.
Arsenal Sandstorm? Oh,
Mhm.
we threw some sand on the map. Congratulations, you got a new map. No, that's not a new map.
The
So
amount of zombies maps that we didn't get that we were supposed to in the Black Ops pass, like, is criminal.
I can't even
Like,
imagine.
yeah. Um,
I want to
not a
go over multiplayer a little bit though
no,
too.
yeah, sure.
Uh, well, I guess weapons and attachments is kind of everything, but um, it looks like there's some mods that we're getting. So like 3 burst mod for the XM4, 3 round burst
Mhm.
mod for the compact. I don't really care about
XM
those per se,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Those aren't super relevant to me.
yeah, new shotgun, new sniper, new melee. Again, I'm totally down for new stuff. I'm
Mhm.
not probably going to use any of those weapons, but the
Did you
fact
use
that
the
we're getting
Stinger? The new or I'm sorry, not the
assault.
Stinger. No, 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 no. The FMG, the Siren 9 millimeter.
No, I have not used it yet.
Um, so what it seems like, I use it in zombies, and it seems like the thing that they're doing is kind of what they did in Cold War, where like the weapons that they're adding throughout the season are usually better than the base game weapons.
Yeah.
It's just a little like dinky FMG, but it slaps in
Okay.
zombies.
So
So
I got to try it is what you're saying. Cuz I think
yeah,
in the
it's
beginning it had gotten released in like a bundle first, right?
yeah,
Like you
yeah.
could get it
But
in a
you can
bundle.
Sure, but yeah, exactly. But you can go into the game and you can use it without buying the bundle. You can just like click it
Okay.
on your loadout and start the
Okay.
game. It slaps in zombies.
Well, that's good to see.
Yeah. So I'm the thing that's big for me is like if they can keep up this pace of content for zombies, like I'm not expecting a new map every season, and I know we're not getting a new map every season, but when they do drop zombies content, if it's just as if not more substantial than this, dude, I'm content. If they just maybe tighten up the marketing a little bit, and like I know that's probably asking a lot,
Yeah.
and it's just not how I would do it
Yeah,
personally.
yeah.
But if they're bringing this volume of content, I don't have any complaints at all. I'm very much enjoying I'm okay. I guess I will say this. One thing that is kind of annoying is that they are repackaging content that existed before and giving it back to us as new content, like Tesla Storm, the field upgrade.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was in Cold War. That was in MWZ. That very well could have been on launch here. And then we got new field upgrades, but I get it. They do that in every game, but it's kind of disappointing, I guess. But I would like to see some new stuff in that way. But I think we're going to get more content that exists repackaged back to us down the road in future seasons. But
Yeah.
hey, I just want to get new stuff. That's fine.
I'm actually that was something I was going to bring up too. I can't remember the other thing I was looking at, but I feel like that there was something else that they were going for that with I feel like Black Ops 4. I feel like they're pushing Black Ops 4 content for some reason. There was something else. Okay, well, there was the SOG, obviously.
Mhm.
But then there's Hacienda. And I thought that there was one thing else that I saw that recently that I was like, holy crap, they are kind of pushing like a little bit of love for BO4 because BO4 always seems like the COD that
Mhm.
like Treyarch
The
didn't
wasted
make or
potential.
something like that,
Yeah. Well, I will say this: the new zombies ammo mod light mend, it basically works like Zombshell, which was a perk in BO4 zombies.
Okay. I think there was something else that I saw.
I
Oh,
think I
okay. It was kind of never mind. It was the holiday Nuketown in the snow, but that's not
I
really
see.
because BO4 was snow.
It had a
Nuketown.
snowy Nuketown, but yeah, it was
So
a little different.
mm,
I can get what you're saying though.
okay.
But I mean, they've opened up the door to pulling things from Black Ops 4, which again is relevant to zombies because we are literally like in this new map. It looks like we're kind of like reviving the old narrative from the chaos story in Black Ops 4. It's like a direct connection.
Yeah.
So, I mean, welcome back Black Ops 4, I guess.
Black Ops 4. I
pretty
mean, listen, I think that there's a
Bro, they even
couple
opened the door to
maps,
Vanguard.
dude. Well, I just think that like there was a couple maps that I actually do remember from BO4. Arsenal, Hacienda, um, what's the map with like it was a competitive map and I can't remember the name of it now that I said that I knew all these maps, but um dang it. It was actually a good one. I can't remember what it was called. But there was like 3 or 4 maps from BO4 that I actually really liked. I thought the rest were trash, but I hope that they bring those because I do think that this game does need a couple more larger maps. I am not complaining about the maps. I don't mind the maps, but if there's just a few more that were maybe the size of like Rewind, then I'd be like, okay, now we're cooking.
Are you satisfied with the amount of content they're bringing for multiplayer? I guess between season 1 and season 1 Reloaded.
I think I personally would like maybe one more map like that wasn't a strike map because I think Rocket is a strike or Racket is a strike map. Maybe just I mean Nuketown is Nuketown, so it's like I don't really think that's not really a new map per se, you know. But I don't know, like Infection, we're getting Infection Holiday, Ransack, which I don't know what that is, but it's a new game mode to play. So, I don't know. I think
do you feel like the multiplayer community is in a healthy spot too, like from your perspective?
I love the multiplayer. I'm having a good time. I do feel like multiplayer is one of those things now where you kind of just do it mindlessly. Like if you go in there trying to drop
It's
bombs,
kind of the appeal of COD is you can kind of just
but
it was
like
always I think it was always that game where you kind of go in, turn off your brain a little bit, and just
maybe
vibe and shoot stuff. You know?
I just felt like the trying aspect. The more you try, I feel like the more skill based matchmaking punishes you. So it's like now I'm just going in there hard point, throwing up some kills, not worrying about anything. If I get my streaks, I get my streaks. Have a Twitch stream on the right, just kind of hanging out, and that's just been enjoyable for me to do that. I'm not really going for grinding anything but I have enjoyed doing some camos here and there. I think that's kind of fun. They went back to the basics.
I'm trying to get Afterlife camo and zombies. Like I'm not grinding for it, but I'm just casually like I'll probably get it eventually. I'll probably get it before DLC 2, or before the zombies map after the one we're getting. But yeah, I mean, like I'm kind of same where I've been playing. I'll play multiplayer occasionally, and for me, it's just I'm just jumping on just to shoot around a little bit. Like I'm not going on to make MLG highlights and stuff. Like
I think that's kind of where I'm at. But I don't know. There's no real explanation. I can't really say why I like it so much. It's just fun.
Just good.
I'm hopping on. I'm playing. Like I'm enjoying myself, and I go back to all these other CODs a good bit, and there's always like MW19. I enjoyed some multiplayer. Now I did play that again. I've already said this, but I went back to that the other day. Man, there are still people camping with 7.25s and claymores. It is wild.
When I made my let me tell you this, bro. When I made my Ghost review, like I don't know, a year and a half ago or something like that, I expected that game just to be like pretty dead. And it wasn't exactly alive, but everyone left on the game. Do you remember this thing in Ghost where in the lobby you could hover over a player's name and it would tell you their time played at the bottom?
And couldn't you see like their player too?
Yeah. And so when I was doing my Ghost review in the multiplayer lobbies, I would look at everybody's thing, and almost everyone's playtime was at least 100 days plus, and they were all using the M27 IAR with the thermal and sitting in some little window. And I'm like, y'all really wake up and do this every day. Like, come on now.
I don't get it, but I'm telling you, there is people that there's so these old communities that like I've been playing BO1 a little bit too. And BO1, when you play on the weekends, there's like this group of people that they're always there.
Mm-hmm.
So they must just every weekend they get together with the boys, they play BO1 and they just run the lobbies. I mean, I lost 75-30.
You want to know something weird? So I made a video about like the last gen port of Black Ops 3. I don't know if you saw that, but I was having people tell me that there's like this is very weird, but there's like a relatively active community of people. It's small, but an active community of people that play BO3 on the PlayStation 3 consistently. But the crazy thing is, if you've never like not played it on a console before, if you try to boot up BO3 on the PS3 now, there's a bug where you
I've
cannot load the multiplayer.
I've heard that. I've heard that before.
So basically, anyone who's left on the game, it's like gatekeeped. It's really strange. Like anyone who's left on the game is like clearly somebody that regularly plays last gen BO3, which I don't know why you would, but that there's a community for it, and that's something.
So
Not
like,
so hard. No, go ahead.
so how do you get? So okay, you might have just said it, but like, how do you get in?
I don't know.
So
Some
like, was
people
there
were
like an
saying that you
update
can.
maybe or something that you can
No,
cancel?
I don't think so. Like some people are saying that you can like spam the X button, but you might have to do it like 4 or 5 times for it to work. Otherwise, you got to reset your game over and over again. I don't know. I never got it to work, but I don't think you can get it to work at this point if
Yeah.
you don't already have a save file previously. So
Sheesh.
yeah, it's very interesting. But I was gonna say, not to change the subject. There was one thing I wanted to touch on that I forgot to when I was talking about zombies. The Gobblegum. Like two of them aren't very interesting. Like Power Keg is cool, and then Holiday Cheers is like a whimsical gum that puts like Christmas wreaths on them.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
one thing that is kind of interesting that I want to talk about was the timeout Gobblegum. So the way that Kevin Drew um, described on the podcast was that it like it just chills out the round. Like you're in a boss fight or it's getting hectic. You pop one of these and like it just kind of like freezes the round. He says, but I don't think it's killing time from BO3, which like everything like freezes in place. You know,
Okay.
like when you do the Nuketown BO3 Easter egg and like you're
Yes.
looking at the things like they freeze, like the
Yep.
Weeping Angels. That's what killing time does, but for everything. I don't think this works like killing time, but I don't know how this works.
Okay.
So I'm curious when this comes out. Like I help my friend Codename Pizza with his myth busting series, and that series was pretty much built on killing time because there's so many interesting things you could do if you just like freeze the game, right? Um, and we talked to them at Treyarch about this. We were like begging for killing time, but they were like, lads, it's really hard to code. Don't know if we can do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe this is their attempts to make killing time. I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll
So
see.
I wonder
But
why. But
I thought that was
why?
interesting.
Why was it doable back in BO3?
I don't know technically why, but I know BO3 was like a lot more of a shoddy game in some ways that
Yeah.
especially being on the old engine, I think it was a lot more manageable. Where the new COD engine, like I think they're just gonna have a hard time coding killing time. I couldn't tell you why. I'm not a programmer.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Just weird how the engines have gotten better, but feels like they've
but
gotten
we're
worse.
losing features, you know, in
Yeah.
the exactly. I think I mean that's 100%. You know, one of the things that me and Pizza have noticed is that Gobblegum are great and they're awesome in BO6, but they're so ironed out. Like in BO3, you could really break the game in creative ways with the Gobblegums
Yeah.
that they obviously didn't expect and are glitches, and they would patch a lot of them. But you could find these holes in the armor. BO6 is very like cut and dry. It's ironed out. You have a much harder time breaking the game with Gobblegum, and I think that's a result of them getting better at making games. But also, we don't have as many like sandbox breaking Gobblegum in the game. We
Yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
killing time. We don't have,
Yeah.
you know. So I would still like them to add killing time personally, but I'm interested to see how this one works. Given that they have timeout, I don't see them also adding killing time. But
Yeah.
who knows? They could surprise me.
I
But
mean, the fact that you get to talk about is the best part about all this. You know, you actually have
yeah.
something to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, the zombies community is talking, and really that's all we need to be doing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Whether it's always good or always bad, I mean, we'd prefer it to be good, but as long as we're talking, you know, the zombies
That,
community is
yeah.
alive.
Again, this reloaded update, it feels good. I like the idea we had always talked about at the end of MW3. Are they going to be able to keep up with content? Are they going to be able to continue to do what MW did or MW3 did, Sledgehammer did? A season and a half in, it looks good. So I'm
And
hesitant.
MW3 season 1 was also good as a zombies player, so I'm not
Yes.
I'm not sending my letter home yet because season 1 I was also impressed with, but
You know what I think is going to happen? well, depending on how long this season goes, you know what? I'm gonna do a crazy prediction right now.
All right.
The rumor is Verdansk is coming back in March. I might say they might be bumping that up on the schedule. There is no source at all besides
shot in the dark here.
A shot in the dark. I'm going one crazy guess. I think they're going to bring Verdansk in early because of how bad Warzone is. Like they need that. They need that bump. Yeah, that number bump.
They're hitting their stim early, dude.
They're hitting their stim early, and I think they're going to go. Especially because you don't see anything in Warzone on this reloaded update. And I didn't even know we were going to talk about Warzone this much, but I feel like that is supposed to be coming in March. Maybe March really isn't that far away, so maybe it will come in March. But I just feel like that they're like saving some big Warzone update for the next one, and then like the next season 2 will be less multiplayer and less zombies.
Verdansk. So when they do it, you know,
they're gonna have to do it
right. Yeah,
the game's gonna have to be dialed in.
One opportunity for it.
Yeah. Maybe not then.
Not that I really have a dog in the fight, but I'm just curious to see how that'll all play out.
It's just wild. I'm looking at this and it's so surprising to me how small the Warzone section is, and I don't know. It feels weird. It feels like we're kind of turning. Yeah, we're like turning the pages here and kind of. They gotta be.
The pendulum is swinging back the other way.
Yeah, I wonder if they're talking about it a little bit. You know, like they're talking about, hey, does this need to be its own thing? Because imagine if this Warzone wasn't on the screen. Like,
sure,
that you would think that this is just a Black Ops 6 update, single player, multiplayer, and zombies.
Yep.
So
it wouldn't be much different.
No, it wouldn't be much different. So I'm like, man, maybe they are kind of teasing or like thinking about, hey, this could be its own thing. I don't know. I actually, this is the first time I've really looked in depth of this. So it's like, I'm kind of a little bit stunned, as you can tell. But yeah, I don't really have anything else besides.
I think that just about covers it. Yeah, I mean, the new map is coming out in literally 2 days. So I'm sure I have a lot more thoughts after we play it. Hopefully first in the world again.
Yeah,
back
baby.
to back.
Yeah, baby. Back to back. Be ready. Live stream. Are you live streaming?
Yeah, for sure.
So make sure you guys go watch the live stream of breaking world records.
Where it's gonna be big time. We're gonna be, the boys are pulling up. Me, Pizza, Noah, Freckleston, Zombie Gods,
and just going for it.
Yeah, so it'll be it looks like a great map already, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing. So I'm sure I'll have more thoughts on everything after Friday.
Yeah.
So we'll do another one of these, and maybe we'll have bring a guest on to have their thoughts on it as well. But I'm curious what you guys think about this too. Like, honestly.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what you think of Season 1 Reloaded. If you know what in the world's going on. If you're a Warzone guy, I don't know how many we have of those in the comments, but let me know your thoughts. Maybe you're kind of in the same boat of like, man, maybe it needs to be its own thing. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that concludes episode 25. We were going to go over the Reloaded map, and I kind of went on a little rant here, so apologize to that. But it's kind of based on the Reloaded update because
it's a big like part of the discussion, because like Warzone has traditionally taken up so much real estate on every roadmap
of this.
Yeah, and to have it literally less than a quarter of the screen is different. And, you know, something shifted with the culture of COD and Warzone. And I mean, again, as a zombies player, I'm eating. I'm fine with that. But something's definitely shifted. And I think it's just a interesting aspect to it.
I agree. I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you subscribe to Chop if you're wanting to watch the wonderful world record breaking zombies live stream. I don't really think anything else. The reviews, you guys have been crushing it on Spotify as always. Thank you for the 5 stars. If you can, if you haven't done it yet, please do it. Apple, same thing. You guys are a little behind. I know I always kind of rag on you a little bit, but hey, we appreciate those who've done it. Follow us on Twitter, and I think that is it. We'll probably have a guest for the next episode.
Yeah.
100%. I don't know what community he will be from. We will figure that out.
We'll pull people from all over.
Yeah.
We'll keep you on your toes.
On your toes. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.